So I want to talk about three things and as quickly as possible, but we'll get there. The first one is commitment. The second one is your concept, your present concept of yourself. And the third one is when you're ready to move on to the next level, what has to die as it pertains to the present concept of yourself and what you have to be committed to. So first about commitment. We all have different commitments in our life. I mean, I'm sure you got one that you're doing right now. We have some commitments that no matter what's going on, we literally are consistent. We stick to them. And that's not negotiable. For me, that commitment is simply waking up in the morning, telling myself really amazing, beautiful things, finally getting up, stretching and doing some meditation and having some tea. That is my most consistent commitment ever in my life, and it's been this way for the past couple of years. Now, the other part of commitment is we know that perhaps there are other things maybe that we need to be committed to, or maybe there's other things that require us to have some sort of a commitment, that want us to have some sort of commitment, but we're not ready to be committed to that. Commitment can also go obviously into the relationship space with other people. There may be some people that we are prepared to be committed to, whatever that may look like, whether or not it's platonic, familial, or romantic, and maybe some people that we're not as committed to for whatever reason. Maybe some people want us to be committed. You see the point here. Okay. I'm not going to talk about relationships here, but I am going to talk about things when it comes to our concepts about ourselves and when we're trying to catapult ourselves to the next level of our lives, what it is that we have to be committed to. Over the past couple of months, actually a couple of years, I'll say, I've spent the concept of learning how to literally deconstruct your mind to reconstruct it and refocus your attention on what you actually want to focus on, what you actually want to be committed to, and actually finally letting die the parts of the self that really are not serving that journey forward, that place I'm trying to go. That is essentially what it feels like I've been, the place that I've been at for the past, I don't even know, trying to, I guess, actually understand and apply it to my life. And not too long ago, I think the turn of July, it really just with that. I realized what I needed to let die. And it it was interesting because it's like I've been understanding this for a while. It's like I've been knowing, but still I've been feeding parts of myself that I know have been holding me back or limiting me from different parts. I've still been allowing myself to be committed to parts of myself that really be having me fucked up. Not making progress in the directions that I need to go in, not allowing myself to explore things in the way that I really actually genuine to explore things, or not allowing myself to actually do the things that really bring me the most joy. There's a lot of things that bring me joy, but there's some things that for some reason I haven't fully committed to them, even though I feel at ease, I feel so joyful, and I feel so centered when I'm doing them or when I'm thinking about them or whatever it may be. Now, this could even play into money. A lot of the times, these are all rooted in beliefs that we don't even know that we may have. They can be rooted in our unconscious mind, subconscious mind, super subconscious mind, conscious mind, whatever it may be. But the reality is that our mind, our beliefs, whether or not we realize we have these beliefs or not, are influencing us actively, influencing our decisions and our beliefs about ourselves, influencing what we believe about money, how money will come to us or won't come to us, what we got to do for money, what we don't got to do for money, relationships, the type of people we attract, the way that we handle situations, the way that we react or interact or respond to people's situations, ideals, concepts, feelings, thoughts, things that come up within ourselves. This is all interconnected here. So when I talk about commitment and your present concept of yourself and where you want to go and what you got to let die, they're all interlude. So one thing that I've been doing, actually, back in June, I listened to an audiobook called The Universe Has Your Back. And obviously the universe, you can interchange that with God. Some people I know have qualms with saying the universe, but God, however you perceive the all divine, the all knowing, the ultimate. But in that book, there was a section, and I actually wrote a blog post about this. I can't remember exactly the name of it, but I'll actually highlight it in the comment section if you want to read it. So if you go to link in my bio, you'll be able to read that blog post. But in that blog, I talk about this. It's all about this specific section of this book, and it's all about the shoulds, meaning the conditional beliefs that we have in our life, the conditional beliefs that we believe that we may not even realize that we have about ourselves. When you're having conversation or when you're talking to yourself, you may not realize that you're saying, "Oh, this should go this way," or "I should be doing this," or "I should be here," or "I should be there," or "They should be treating me this way," or "They should be chasing me this way," or blah 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 blah. All of these shoulds are some form of a belief that either we have, that obviously that we have, right? But that either we developed ourselves, that may have come from an internal place. I don't know, that could have been influenced from external preferences, or maybe you just decided to come up from for yourself, from another belief that you have. The reality is that we have so many beliefs about ourselves, about others, and about how our life's supposed to be. And a lot of times, the beliefs that we have about how our life's supposed to be in ourselves or others are very much so influenced from the outside, from the external. So some of the things that we feel like we have to commit to, in reality, just don't align with us, just don't align with our divine inner truth. So the question is, say, okay, well, how do I get to that point of aligning with my divine inner truth? You have to make a commitment to yourself, your true self, not the self that's sugar-coated with the external qualms of this world or ideals, but the self that is truly in there, that innocent self, the self that you can experience in silent moments, the self that is always communicating, always just gently nudging, gently massaging, gently wanting to come out and play, the child, that innocent spirit within. When I started the Practicing Present program, I actually started creating it some time ago. And it actually started when I started doing an emptiness meditation. And another shameless plug here. I have a guided meditation up on my website, link also in my bio, for a guided emptying or no thingness meditation. This is a meditation that I was doing consistently for about a month every day. That joint is crazy. It's really amazing. And it's essentially allowing yourself to be absolutely nothing so that you can hear your true self, your true wants, your true desires, your true reality. And then you can thus be everything. It's like connecting you with everything you never thought you'd be connected to. It just changes your whole relationship with yourself and the external world. So if you're prepared to be on that, if you're prepared to be committed to yourself, or if you're just prepared to give it a shot, to see what it's like, to experience a version of yourself that's formless, expansive, that's empty, that's not overly concerned with anything really that's going on in this world, because there's so much to be concerned about. There's so much to be concerned about all the time, every day. Like, oh my God. It's overwhelming. It's really overwhelming. And it's okay. It's okay. It's ultimately okay. I'm here. Right now we have 8 minutes. This whole entire spiel is not rooted in duality of good or bad. This is just me spitting how I feel, okay? But the reality of the situation is that allowing yourself to know exactly your truth, know exactly what you really actually deep down want to be committed to or need to be committed to, that is in divine alignment with your heart opening and you experiencing your divine truth. I'm talking about your actual truth that may be beyond your conception, your current conception of yourself. You got to be willing to commit, even if it's the tiniest commitment, even if it's just a small little thought, to yourself, to experiencing that part of yourself, to incorporating a bit more silence time in your daily day, to journaling a bit more, or to breathing a bit deeper, or to tapping in and becoming more mindful of your senses throughout the day, to taking stock of what your thoughts are, becoming the observer a bit more, to going outside in nature and relaxing, or observing the insects and what they're doing, all that stuff. Maybe watching the sunset or sunrise a bit more, waking up a bit earlier, or going to sleep a bit later or earlier, depending on what you need, just so you can get a couple of more pages in on that book, or listen to that new podcast, or learn that new skill, or whatever it may be. But when we come to this concept of what is your present concept of yourself, I said concept, I mean question. When we come to the question of what is the present concept of yourself, and the second question of where do you want to be, you have to understand that there's going to be parts of your present self, all beautiful, all absolutely beautiful and divine and timely and well placed. But as you're moving up this ladder, which is dope because, you know, this finger a little bit taller than that one. As you're moving up this ladder, something has to go to make room for you to grow. Something has to die so that you can create room for the new. You have to no longer focus on the things that are really pissing you off or the shit that you don't want in your life. Whatever. You have to let all of that go and commit to this new empty space that was created here on this part of the ladder. So when I say that your current concept of yourself, I'm talking about everything. Allow yourself to be willing to get to know yourself. Allow yourself to be willing to sit with yourself. Allow yourself to be willing to be silent sometimes. Allow yourself to be willing to do some introspection sometimes. Allow yourself willing to maybe not spend that extra dollar sometimes, to maybe not go out all the time, to maybe not be always so like whatever that inhibits you from actually knowing your truth, knowing exactly what you want to do with your dollars, or knowing exactly how you want to spend your time, or knowing exactly where your energy needs to be focused, or knowing exactly who or who shouldn't be in your life or not, whatever it is. Allow yourself to take your time to actually be here and now in the present moment. I made this Practicing Presence program, yes, for y'all, but it's a big part of my life because it helps to remind me to keep pushing forward, to let the parts of me that no longer serve, allow them to just integrate or to just fall off and die. To allow them to just go back. Go back to God. These are no longer my burdens to carry. And that's the truth. When it's time for you to move up onto the next version of yourself, ask God for guidance. Because that burden of focusing on those old versions, those old beliefs, those old concepts, those old behaviors, those old habits that are holding you back from those blessings, you got to let them go. You got to let them die. No more focus, aka energy, should be placed on those things. You can celebrate them for what they've done, for how they've served you, for how they've put you at this point in your life where you're like, you know what, it's time for me to move forward. Thank you so much, old me. I appreciate you, but that's enough. It's time to move on. I've had to do all of this, and I want us all to continue to do all of this. Because as we continue to press forward in our lives, and as we continue to face environmental degradation, as we continue to face other environmental effects that are affecting our lives, the lives of our brother and sister around the world, as we see people continue to get hurt, whether or not it be from pandemics or other environmental disasters around the world, things getting stronger, more intense, more frequent. The truth of it is that as nature transforms, as she is evolving, as she is expanding, as she is purging, so must we. We are nature. And the truth is that a true evolution and revolution of our systems and of the way that we live our lifestyles, it cannot be without a true revolution and evolution of the self. The intermingling of self-knowledge, self-discovery, self-expansion, and self-commitment with an environmental health, justice, peace, harmony, balance, community, they're intertwined. Our mindsets, our beliefs are intertwined with our lifestyles, of what we believe we can and can't do as individual people, or what we can and can't do as a collective. So when it comes to understanding what you're willing to commit to, ask yourself that question. Are you committed to yourself completely, fully? I'm not talking about just a couple things that you know you do every day. I'm talking about complete commitment to the self. What is your present concept of yourself, and how does that relate to your commitment to self? And when you're going through this, do not judge yourself. I know I may be coming at y'all with a relatively interesting tone here, but do not judge yourself. There is no space for judging here, no space for shame. Even if you feel that way, it's okay. Let it come and let it go. But no matter how you feel about when you answer these questions, you are still a whole and complete person already. Anything that you can imagine, if you can imagine yourself already as a whole and complete person, then you are that. If you can visualize and have a whole imagery of yourself already being that person that you want to be, then you are that. You created it. It's already there. Just be it. I know it's hard. Trust me. I mean, I'm over here talking behind the screen and you like, oh, girl. I get it. It can be hard to make that mental transition. It can be hard to stop old habits, especially when our bodies and our minds, tools, body and mind, these are tools. They're so used to previous ways of existing. I get it. Please trust me. It's been hard for me. Okay. To stop always committing to versions of the self that just are not in service of the next phase of life. But the first step is under the awareness and the acknowledgement. I'm going to tell you something. Awareness is indeed a superpower, and that's the first step, is becoming aware. And the second step is understanding now that I'm aware, what is my current concept of myself? The third step is understanding what versions am I committed to myself? What am I committed to? What do I want my commitments to be? What do I actually want to focus on? Who do I want to be? And so that future concept of yourself that you can imagine, that you would be like, I would be perfect as this person. What do you have to drop? What do you have to let go of? What do you have to send off to God? What do you have to send to the ends of the universe? What do you have to release from yourself, from your space, from your mind, from your beliefs, from your behaviors, from your habits, from your concepts? What do you have to release in order to get to that version of yourself that you so badly want to be? That's my question. Have a good Friday.